Welcome to the PPM Winter Circle podcast. I'm your host, Hunter. Next to me is Mr. Rodney.
Hello, guys.
In the yellow is Mr. Randy.
Hello.
And in the black is Mr. Ricky.
How we doing tonight, guys? We got you back here again.
Yep.
Yeah, you did.
Welcome back. And with us today, we have the promoter and series owner of the American All-Star Series presented by PPM Racing Products, Mr. Joe Rush.
Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. This one's been one we've been waiting on for a very long time. It's a special one for us, especially for me. Joe was actually one of the first people that I got to talk to series-wise that PPM had actually been a part of. And it was just and he taught me a lot of things that first time I talked to him. He told me some things about the series, and I've been to a couple of races, and it's pretty awesome. So we're very glad to have him here. So, Mr. Joe, the first question I got for you is, so I want to get the background scoop on how did you at first get interested in racing? Like, how did all that come to be?
So I've been into racing all my life, but never the driving side. My grandfather was a scorekeeper at Beckley Motor Speedway for 40 years, and when I was 15, so 20 years now, I've been doing this. When I was 15, he got me a position hand scoring. That's where I started. It was still hand scoring at that point. Well, the very next year they got a computer and I had to learn to computer score because I was the youngest one there and, little tech savvy. Right. So I learned to computer score. And it's really just taken off from that, the love for the sport. I'm pretty good with social media, and that's a big part of today's world of racing for sure.
Yeah, big part.
So it just moved into promoting and eventually series ownership.
So again, somebody young, everybody we talked to, they always was young, brought up in it, and they grow to love it, and it's a passion for people. I told Hayden a while ago when we talked to him that he started out young, and I said it seems everybody starts out young and has that. And I said I have no friends other than in the racing world. You know what I mean? So I don't hunt, I don't fish. I've always been around it since I was a kid. So it's definitely something that people fall in love with, I guess. Because the money ain't. There's no money there.
That's right. That's for sure.
Did you score more than 10 at a time?
Yeah, I mean, one time the hardest race I ever scored was 410 sprint cars at I-77. They were supposed to start. They said we're not going to start any more than 20. I said, okay, we got it.
The reason I asked that, Ray told the story about the guy that scored 10. He just scored as many as 10.
He scored as many as 10 at a time. We scored. I scored 22 sprint cars by hand that night, and that was definitely. It was because you don't know the car. When you're a scorer, you get used to cars, and you see them. And those cars are there once a year, so you don't know the ones you're scoring either. So that's probably the hardest job scoring I ever had.
I don't know how you done that because I watched them one night at Atomic and I couldn't even tell who was leading.
It was not easy.
Yeah. I have a hard time even finding their number.
Yeah.
How long have you done scoring?
Like I said, that was what I did first when I was 15. I was in the tower before that with him. Just kind of, they always were good about letting me go in there. But 15 was when I really started doing it. And I did I-77. I started I-77 Speedway, which is now closed in West Virginia, Fairplain, West Virginia. I started there a couple of years later. Well, they still were hand scoring there. They hadn't upgraded to computer yet. So I spent several years hand scoring there. So I still go back and do it every once in a while. One of our tracks calls and needs a score, and we're off one weekend. I'll go fill in. I did it at Natural Bridge this year and Mountain Motor Speedway as well.
Okay. Did you ever do competition director work at the tracks, or you just did the scoring?
Yeah, I did. A lot of times the scoring and race directing, and it especially became more and more later at I-77, Beckley, and Princeton. Once I went to Princeton, you were both. You had to do the scoring and you race directed. So, I spent many years doing both and being in charge of scoring and race directing. I tried to do that when we started the series, but that's a lot to do for one person with a series. So
no doubt. Yeah.
We do have a score now, but I spent many years doing both.
Yeah.
How did doing both of those help you go into the series promotion and owner? How did that help you start all that?
I feel like especially just having knowledge of that side of the sport, the tech side. I'll tell you, I've learned more than I ever thought I'd know since we started the series. But knowing the business side of the sport, I think really, because with race directing, promoting, you saw how a lot of the business side of the sport worked, and that definitely helped get to where we're at now.
Right.
So, how did you become the owner of the American All-Star Series?
When we started, I was actually called from a gentleman from Tennessee. He wanted a partner in it, and we got into it and found out it wasn't quite for him. So thankfully, we were able to keep it going, though, and now we're getting ready to start year 7, and it's been very, very successful.
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you ever have a desire to do something and travel?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know that I'd ever financially be able to do it, but thankfully things have worked out, and we are able to do that. And I really wanted to do maybe a local track more so, but now that I've done this, I like this a whole lot more, and traveling. And when you're on the road with people, they become like a family. A lot of these guys that run with us have run with us, most of the seasons that we've had the series, and you come a family with those people, with your staff. It's just a real tight knit group, and I definitely it's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
What do you think's been the hardest to learn?
Selling sponsorship.
Yeah.
Definitely the hardest part, and thankfully, the first one that I really sold by myself was to Risco, which is Veland now, and that kind of gave me the confidence to really build into it and keep going after it and growing it.
Yeah, I talked to a guy this week that has acquired a series, and he said the same thing. He said, I've realized how hard it is to get people to partner with you.
Yeah, it definitely is, and just you got to be able to show, our Facebook page does really, really well now, reaches about 1 million people a year. So, you have those numbers, and the first year it's definitely hard because you don't have anything to show. You're just, here's my dream, hoping people will bite and buy. So, now we can show car counts, we can show what our social media reaches and things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like having a part you've made and trying to get people to try it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing.
Now, you actually don't only promote and run the American All-Star Series touring series. You actually have quite a few other series, and you also, don't you do promotion and stuff like that for the Red Clay Series, or did this past year?
Yeah, I help Ray with the Red Clay Series. I'm the general manager at Beckley Motor Speedway. And we've got our weekly series, which we can talk a little bit about that here in detail as well.
And do you still teach school?
And I still teach school.
What subject do you teach?
I do elementary special education, 4th and 5th graders.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
on
cool.
the touring series, how many states and how many different tracks did you spread across this past year?
So this past year we hit South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Kentucky has really become a good state for us. There's a lot of race cars there. Natural Bridge, every time they open the gates, cars show up from everywhere. It's just such a good location because the Tennessee guys can be there in 4 hours. It's not far for the Kentucky guys. The guys from up north can come, and the guys from down south as well. So it's a good middle ground, and Natural Bridge has been so good to support our series and really, get behind what we do.
Yeah. And like you just said, on the you have the weekly series. I'd love to touch on the weekly series. This is a huge deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, because like guys around here and even tracks, nobody around here does that with you, helps you with the weekly stuff. So just kind of at first, tell us what the weekly stuff is about.
So the weekly series is a reward for local drivers for racing at their home track. I mean, that's really what it is. It's there's no cost to tracks to do it. Drivers do have to pay a $10 entry fee, but I mean, I don't think $10 is going to keep anybody from showing up to the racetrack. I would be shocked if it does, and maybe it does keep 1 or 2. But I think overall it helps because every driver comes in and they pay that entry fee. That 100% of that goes and gets added on to our points fund. So this year the base points fund was $3,000 to win. We're going to pay the champion $4,500. So these guys competing at tracks against each other. Sometimes they have to think about where they're racing and maybe go block somebody else from passing them into points at one of the other weekly tracks as well, especially if, say, for example, Beckley's off. Well, Natural Bridge is 2 hours, Willard's 2 hours. They could ride to either one of those tracks. This is, to me, just a great thing for tracks to offer. Like I said, it's $10 a night for the racers. It gets added to the points fund. It all goes, it all goes back to the racer anyways. So if you got a weekly 604 class, this is the way to go, because it plus we'll provide tech support and stuff as well. We actually had several instances this year where we went out and found a couple things that were going on wrong with weekly guys, and we caught that and took care of it. So we were there to support our racetracks with that as well.
So who is the weekly champion this year?
The weekly champion this year is Brandon Fouts, and he got most of his points from running at Mountain Motor Speedway in Isom, Kentucky. He ran Willard a couple times, Lake Cumberland a couple times as well, but that's just for being right there supporting a track 30 minutes or whatever from him.
He got 45. The guy that run second, who was that? And
Shane Greco will ran second, and he'll end up with about 2,500 for the season
For just running at their home track.
for just racing at their home
And
track.
$10 a night.
Yep.
So if you own a track, you can be a part of that weekly deal, and you wouldn't even have to have a touring race. You can still be a part of that.
Right. All you got to do is follow our rule book. You don't have to have a touring race. It does help if you run a touring race, because everybody's already on our rules then.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have a touring race. They can sign up to run for points. It's $150 for the year to sign up for points, and then that $10 entry fee it feeds the points fund, and it gets bigger and bigger every year.
Wow.
And how many guys did you have competing in the weekly this year?
I think this year we had 35 guys in the weekly points battle. Wow. So it was the biggest year we've had yet for the weekly series, and it was very, very competitive. I enjoy doing that. I sit down and do those points manually every week, and watching the points and watching where guys land.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that week, because guy wins here, guy wins here. Well, they both get 50 points, so it gets really competitive.
Absolutely. How many guys did you have on the touring series with you this year?
We ended up with 10. Actually, there were 11 that ran at least 50% or more. If they run 50 to 79.9%, they get 50% of the points fund. 80% or more, they get the full points fund. So we actually had 7 that ran enough races to get full points fund, and then there were another 3 that were in that 50 to 79%.
I see. And now we talked about the touring and the weekly. You also have the mini All-Star series.
Yeah, our mini All-Stars, that's something that we started a couple years ago. I'm a big believer that if you don't get the kids involved, and like Rodney said earlier, that passion comes early in life. So we started that deal. We run mainly around Beckley is the track that runs them weekly. So we go there, Natural Bridge. Well, Natural Bridge has got, I think, 3 new kids buying mini wedges for next year for the mini All-Star series. So I think they're going to start running them some as well, on top of what we do with our touring, the little mini tour. We go to Willard with them as well. We might take them to Isom this year, because that's still pretty close for those kids. And they get to pay out every race, so get a trophy at the banquet too, and a little bit of money at the banquet as well.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
It's very awesome. And how many of them did you have this year?
There were 3 that ran enough to get points money this year. So it's something that's definitely, like I said, you got new ones coming at Natural Bridge. I think it's going to definitely grow, and that's what we want to see with the youth in the sport for sure.
Yeah.
So what age can they start running them?
They can start running them at 4.
4.
Yep.
Young racers. As soon as they start walking.
That's right. That's right. As soon as they start, if they can walk, they can get every mini wedge and go. So
Wow.
And they age out at 13. So a lot of times, kids nowadays are getting in a late model at 13 or 14. So
I'm like getting in the car at 4. Hang on.
You'd have been dangerous at 4, wouldn't you?
I would. I wouldn't know if it was mud or my poop on the track. Oh man.
Only you. Only you.
So that's a great deal. So there's a champion for that this year?
yeah, a champion for that was Braden Mills. He's from Sophia, West Virginia. Actually goes to the school I teach at. So he's the champion, and then the other 2 were T. Evans and Stephen Lusher, they call him Wild Child.
Yeah.
So, a lot of fun. A lot of fun with those kids and the parents that ride, go up and down the road there with us a little bit as well. So.
Yeah. So how old are those?
Most of the ones in that group now, I think, are between 8 and 11.
Yeah.
So these are older kids, and like I said, thankfully we got some new ones coming there in the Natural Bridge area for sure.
So, looking ahead, I guess maybe we jump ahead a little bit. What do we look for in the future of the series?
Just definitely continued growth is what we're after. We've always strived to be for the racer and try to do what's best for the racer. Sometimes you've got to make them do stuff that they don't think's what's best for them, but really it really is. We've got plenty of races booked for 2025. We're going to open the season. I'll go and drop this little schedule hint here. We're going to open the season at 191 Speedway. So that's a new track for the series.
Right.
We're really excited to go there beginning of April. A lot of stuff in Kentucky still coming. West Virginia and Virginia, of course, will still be strong. We'll be in Tennessee some, Georgia some, and hopefully back in South Carolina. So we want to continue growing. And this year was the biggest. This past season was our largest average car count ever for the series. And our minimum car count, our lowest car count all year was 21. And it's the first year we've ever not had at least one night where we were in the teens. So it's definitely growing in the right direction, and that's what we want to continue to do in 2025.
Yeah, sounds good.
So what is your most memorable moment since you've done the American All-Star Series?
There's been a lot. There's been a lot of really, really good races. Watching most here recently, seeing the excitement on Zach Seiss's face after, he's run with us since basically the second half of the first year of the series. And this was his first $10,000 victory. Yeah. So watching him get out after that win again, and there was a win with AJ Hicks earlier this year where he picked up a $10,000 win race, and he's been a loyal supporter. So I really just like watching the racers' reactions when they get a win, especially their biggest career win or their first touring series win. Those are all really, really great memories, and I really enjoy, as far as memories made with the trade show, with the series. Trade shows are a lot of fun. We make a lot of friends at trade shows. Those weekends are just, I look forward to them all off season when we're getting ready for the next season. But the trade shows and those events are just so good, and they're just genuine connections that you make at those deals.
Absolutely, and What trade shows you going to be at this year?
Well, we're going to go walk around at PRI. We don't get a booth there, but we do walk around, go see some of our partners that have been with us for a while. Of course, we're going to do the Hickory Show. We've done it since they started it back up during the COVID year. The Knoxville Show, and then, of course, the one we started ourselves is the Mountain State Racing Expo. So we started that last year, and that's just been it's kind of an extension and a growth of the series, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where is your expo at? Where's that at?
So the Mountain State Racing Expo this year, we moved it a little bit north in West Virginia to kind of center it more to all of West Virginia racing. We had it in Beckley last year, but we're going to go to Summersville this year, which is about 45 minutes up the road from Beckley. But like I said, it kind of centers it so that all the West Virginia racers are a little closer to be able to attend the event.
What's the dates for that?
We're going to go, it'll be the evening of February 28th and then March 1st this year.
There you go. There's your dates. If you want to go by and see Mr. Joe Racing American All-Star Series and some crew guys from PPM, make sure to stop by up there and hang out and talk to everybody. So since I've worked here, and even before that, PPM has been the presenting sponsor for the American All-Star Series. How did you and PPM get together on doing that? Because y'all have had it locked in for years now.
Yeah, PPM was a part of it from the beginning. And when I went to go, become the owner totally, I came to PPM and I said, hey, you guys want to stay with us, if we do this? And that was the biggest thing, was making sure that PPM was going to be locked in if I did this for, years to come. And, last year at the banquet, Rodney said that he would be with the series for as long as we want to do this. So it's just been a great relationship from the beginning. You know, we really appreciate PPM and the partnership that we have.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
I think I can speak on what all we're behind. We first done this to give the racers somewhere to race and race for some decent money. And them be able to know that they're treated fairly.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Joe will tell you, the first thing I said to him, you got to tech, you got to put in the contract, we got to do it this way.
Yep.
And that's the way I feel about it. All I ever asked when I went to race was I get the same chance everybody else got. I don't want no advantage. I don't want to be treated like I'm a king or something. Just give me the same chance everybody else got. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why his growth is built on. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of patting him on the back here. And I don't, you know, we continue with him. Yes, it's advertisement for the business and everything, but it's giving people a chance that would never have another chance to compete in a crate late model, because not everybody can afford a super, and run for some money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially, you know, even with y'all supporting that, it's even also going to the home tracks with the weekly series too. Like,
Right.
I mean, and that's huge.
Right, that's an awesome deal.
You don't have to travel 4 states.
That weekly deal's a no-brainer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, promoters are out here trying to figure out what to do. That is a no-brainer.
I don't think, if you didn't hear, he said 100% of that money goes back to the racer.
Well, if I had a track, I would be all over that. And that would make me look real good. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, you mentioned that when we took a picture at Beckley with our champion with Brandon Fouts, and I handed him a check. He's like, "That's more than I thought it was going to be for just racing a mile on the track."
Yeah, exactly. It's a real good deal. Yeah.
So I've said all that earlier leading up. You made a hard decision last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why American Racer, and why American Racer only?
So that is a very tough question, and I'll answer it to the best of my
Probably had a lot
ability.
of sleepless nights.
I did. It took. I mean, it
You
was.
thought he was on your side, didn't you?
Yeah. So it wasn't a decision made overnight, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, to just talk freely and bluntly about this situation, both tire manufacturers had supported the series up until a couple years ago. And, you know, that sponsorship's what makes the series go, period. I mean, that's what you got to have.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years ago, new tires come out, and one of the manufacturers said, "Well, we won't support you if you allow the other manufacturer." So I said, "You can't, you know, well, we've got to have money to operate." And so I called the other one, explained the situation, and the first year we kind of did a transition year and still allowed both. And, you know, last year we kept looking at it. Well, the other crate series, they all have a tire deal. I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. That's how they operate. Mm-hmm. It helps keep points fund up, keeps good money being paid out. And I went to American Racer and I said, here's where we got to be to make this work, to make it good for the racer. And not only that, not only looking at the points fund for those guys that run with us all the time, but looking at the weekly racer and looking at the racers that are coming to support us. They can get the tire that we're running for $180. Mm-hmm. Whereas the competition is, you know, $250-ish. Mm-hmm. I haven't priced it recently, but I know it's around $250. So for, you know, basically every set of tires that you buy with American Racers, you're getting one free for what you would pay the competitor for. So that, you know, that went into it because I've always thought about, you know, I said earlier, I've always try to think about what's best for the racer. Yeah. Well, I feel like, you know, and this is one of those times where some of them are like, well, why are you doing that? Well, you're saving them money in the long run on it. For the majority, most part, I know there's some that have deals and things, but the majority, the weekly racer, the Crate Racer, which is what we're after, this even if they don't want to, it saves them money in the long run. So, you know, it was all about just stability. I mean, our points fund is so much more this year because we raised our touring points fund. We pay $2,000 to the Rookie of the Year now, American Racer Rookie of the Year. And each of our on top of our weekly deal that I've already talked about, each of our track champions are now getting a $500 check at the end of the season too. So that's in addition to what they're already getting. So it was really, you know, obviously sleepless nights. But when I looked at it and what we could do with going this route for the racer, it was something I had to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as if any of y'all had watched the previous podcast with Ray Cook, he actually touched on the Pro Series tires. And Joe's series, you run the Pro 2 and the Pro 4. The Pro 4 is on the right rear, and you can run Pro 2s all the way around, your option. But Ray actually said that the Pro 2 and Pro 4 showed way better results in the long game of the race. And that's what, you know, that's awesome too, because you have the best, in a sense, the best tire to run with the series, and it's cheaper than any other tire that's available right now. So, I mean, that's just it's a win-win all the way around on that edge.
Yeah, you know, we ran 70 laps last week at Beckley, and Zach Seiss sent me a picture of the right rear. It didn't even look like I'd been on the racetrack. I mean, now it was heavy because it rained a lot and it was cold. But then on the other hand, speaking about how good the tires are, the Pro 4, Tyler Bear and I had a miscommunication. So he thought that he had to run a Pro 4 on the right rear. Well, he made the dash running the Pro 4 on the right rear, ran the Pro 4 on the right rear all night long, and finished third in the race. So, you know, he told me afterwards, he said, Joe, I thought I had to run Pro 4 all night on the right rear, and that's what he'd run all night long.
So has most of the racers kind of come around to understanding the decision? Yeah,
the majority of them, you know, there's still some that think they're you know, they're getting cheated. But the majority of the racers, I mean, you know, you look at our car count, like I said, it's the best average car count we've ever had. So I think that speaks a lot about it. And our weekly series, you know, that's the most members we've ever had on the weekly series as well. So I think the majority of the racers, they understand, especially the ones that race with us all the time, and why the decision was made, and they support it.
Yeah. Good deal.
Well, you'd like for everybody to agree with decisions you make, but that just ain't gonna happen.
That's right.
No. You gotta do the best you can as a whole.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've always said it's kind of like a pastor at a church.
Yeah.
That's right. And
you kind of got to keep everybody united and happy.
Well, you know, I've seen pastors in headlocks before.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Rand? When did a pastor get what? Headlocks here.
Pastor in a headlock.
Yeah, what are you talking about headlocks for?
I don't know.
I guess somebody got one at a track one. I don't know. Just
the other thing that we do different than other crate series is that we haven't touched on is the engine dyno. And that's something that Shane Bell's at Pro Built in Sevierville, right here in Tennessee. He called me and said, Joe, this is what the asphalt guys do. You can save the racer money by doing this. So, you know, last year we started it, and guys weren't having their engines torn down. They were being able to keep them together. We just did Zach's last week. And, I mean...
So you don't tear it down.
Right. We just put it on the dyno, and now Zach can go put it back in his engine and go race somewhere this weekend if he wants to.
So, what have you learned by putting those different engines on the dyno? What I'm getting at, I bet you've learned that there's not a lot of difference between them.
That the GM sealed engines dyno just as well as ones that are rebuilt. Like, you know, they really do. Sometimes better. If it's a brand new GM engine, it'll sometimes dyno better than the ones that have been rebuilt. So, you know, the rebuild thing is great.
Yeah.
But a straight from GM one does just as well.
I wanted you to speak. The reason I asked it, I wanted you to speak because you had told me that they were getting more and more consistently right there, pretty much.
They are
right to the next.
Yeah, you know, every engine we've dynoed this year has been within like 3 horsepower of each other. So it's been a very, very consistent year, and it's a great thing because we're just building our notebook. It's getting bigger and bigger. Right. So if we ever have one that's out of line, well, we've got 30 other engines we checked, and they're all the same.
I'm going to ask you the next question, though, that goes along with that dyno.
Okay.
Can you tell the torque and how quick it is?
Yes, yeah, you can look at the torque too. So
Now, how similar is all those?
they're right on the same number too. I mean, everything on these 604s, when you put them on that dyno and you actually see what the horsepower
It just
and the
kind of
torque,
is what it is.
yeah, everything is what it is.
See,
That's
as a-
right.
see, as a
So,
racer, to me, you can't ask for no more than that. Just like Randy said earlier, but all I wanted to be was just on the same level as everybody else to race. If I got beat, then I got beat. Man, you couldn't ask for stuff like that being done.
and now not tearing it down. A lot of these series is, and this isn't talking bad. It's just how it's always been. We're doing something different. That's how I believe you got to be to do what's best for the racer. These guys get their engines torn down after a big win, and $10,000 win. Well, once they spend $3,000, $3,500 to rebuild it, they're not winning $10,000.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, I had a guy come in here one day and he'd won a big race. He said, "I ain't got my money. My motor's apart. It's going to take $3,000 to put it back together." And I'm sitting there going, "Okay," and he was fussing about it, and I'm like, "Well,
You got to get it in line to get it back up together.
yeah,
Yeah, and so these guys that do the dyno with us, they've got, we can do it the next day. We schedule it around their schedules, but we do it the next day if that's what they want. That's what we always offer, and we'll get it dynoed, and then it's right back in their car and they're ready to race. So they actually win maybe a couple $100 in gas at most, but otherwise they win their $10,000.
It's great that Shane does that. That way it's on the same dyno every time.
Right, and we have our we buy a stock engine straight from GM every year, so we have the newest, most up to date one, just in case they change. GM changes
And
something.
the engine builder that built the engine is allowed it to be there.
They are, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, you have a sponsor on board with you for those GM engines, correct?
Yeah, Rick Hendrick, City Chevrolet has been a big part of the series since the first year. Jim Norman there at Rick Hendrick. If you've never talked to him, his wealth of knowledge as far as GM stuff goes is invaluable. He takes care of our racers if they call and they say that they race with the series, they get a special pricing. So he's been a big supporter and really good to the series.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's a win-win all the way around. You run with the series, you get a discount.
it just keeps getting better and better."
Hey, don't forget the 10% discount that members get PPM
That
as
is
well.
correct. If you're a weekly or touring series driver, if you're a part of the series, and Joe sends us a list of who's on that and who is paid up and does all their stuff, you do get a 10% off discount on every product you buy through us here at PPM Racing Products. So make sure that you know that, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to give us a call. We have something pretty big coming out in December for all you guys, so make sure to keep a lookout on the Facebook page at PPM Racing Products. But also, speaking of Facebook pages,
I don't have Facebook. He don't.
does your brother have one?
Yeah, but I don't look at it.
Just ask him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just ask your brother.
Yeah, I'm messing with Hunter again.
That way he can filter out all
Yeah,
of the stuff you don't
yeah.
need to know.
Yeah, right.
There's some
Tell
stuff-
me the important stuff. There's some stuff on there you don't need to see.
That's correct.
I don't want to see it.
I don't know.
If the people out there that know Ricky hear that, they say that's him.
But touching
I
on
just got on Facebook.
really.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
That's our own boss.
It's the tater tots.
Tater.
Yeah.
Might have been them chicken fries.
Might have been.
Well, they's good. They's a lot better than the Burger King ones.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, what I was gonna say is about the Facebook pages is if you don't already, even if you don't race with the series and you have nothing to do with it, make sure you go to the American All-Star Series Facebook page and just like and follow it, because here's what happens. And the reason I touched on the Rick Hendrick deal, this past year, I think I've seen you do a handful of raffles and giveaways on a GM crate engine. Like it's a raffle. And there's a lot of guys that I've seen actually take them, get them from you, and they are winning. Like they're perfectly fine. And if you don't know that, he does them. How many of you had this year? Like at least 4.
I think we've done
of.
4. You went and get an engine for $110.
Exactly. I mean, can't get no better than that.
Am I eligible for that?
Yeah.
It's at
I might have to get on Facebook.
A good reason to get on there.
That'd be a surprise, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, what you get the motor? What you gonna do with it?
I'll lease it out to somebody.
That's right. Somebody always needs one.
So, anyways, make sure to check that out. And Mr. Joe also has a website. And you want to tell them about that? All the stuff that they can get for you on there.
Yeah, so our website is it's run by my Race Pass. They do a great job with that. It's crateracing.com is the shortest version of the website to go to. So just crateracing.com. It takes you straight to the American All-Star Series homepage. There's news and information on the homepage, mainly past event write-ups, things like that, what's happened in most recent events. Of course, there's a driver section where all of our guys ask me all the time, well, what's the payout for this week? Well, all of our touring series points funds are posted on the rules page of the website. So they can go on there and see if it's a 4,000 win race, it follows this standard payout. If it's a 10,000 win race, it follows this standard payout. So we always post our payouts so that people see and they know beforehand. Nobody shows up not knowing what they're racing for. We have some great payouts now. The only one that's not on there is when we run for 15,000 win and 1,200 start, but that's a little special thing there. But our rules are on there for the weekly and the touring series. Really, they're the same thing, other than the touring series tells how we run our events. There's a place where you can go on there and learn a little bit about our staff, the people that work for us. There's a page for that. So. And then, of course, you can go on there and see all of our partners. Go to their websites from there as well. So we've got a lot of great partners that help us do what we do, for sure.
Along with the partner list, do you have any new ones coming on board for next year?
O'Reilly's has upped their partnership for 2025. So that's great news.
Yeah.
I'm working with Keaton Smith, who owns Aiken Ridge Landworks, and I think we're going to get him with us. He's actually one of our racers, but wants to support the series as well. So enjoys what we do and likes what we do. So expect to see an announcement for that soon. So definitely some growth there. Long time relationship with Veland is of course still going to be in place as well. So we've got a lot of great partners that really just it helps us do what we do.
Absolutely.
Well, something you might ought to do before we go any further, because they're important. Mention everybody that helps you on a night, on a race night.
As far as our
Your crew.
Well, of course, my wife Jessie, she runs the trailer most nights. Then of course we've got Ronnie Phillips. I think we've got the best tech in the game as far as engines go. Ronnie spent many years in NASCAR building engines at ECR, so he probably has forgotten more about engines than most people know. Jesse Raines also helps with tech. He's learned to P&G. There's some nights that Ronnie can't be there, and Jesse's able now to do everything that Ronnie does at the track.
Jesse's the man Raines.
That's right. So he does a great job there. We've got Maida Lefevers, who is a huge race fan, really, that takes care of our fan interaction. We toss out Frisbees from O'Reilly's. We do. We work with Racers Recovery Ministry here in East Tennessee, so we collect money for them. She takes care of that. Tara Chavez, the best photographer in dirt racing, in my opinion. There's not anybody better. So she's been with us since year one and definitely does a great job. And her husband, Rick, is the best in the chute that there is. So
Rick.
That's right. So they're a great team for the series. Keely Lowe has been helping us. She does a lot of our graphic stuff now for us, and she'll come and make sure guys get in the chute at the track. She helps us with that. So we've got a really solid staff, great people. Other people that fill in, Bo Thompson. Michael Commercy, a friend of mine from college, that's also a teacher. He comes and works for us when we need somebody. So. And of course, you can't forget the voice of the American All-Star Series, Walter Tapp.
Yeah. Don't leave him out.
Walter DeVos Tapp. See, no, I think that one's already took.
Is it?
Yeah, it was Vern Gosden, but we'll come up with another one.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Joe, we're going to kick it over to Quick Time, presented by PPM Racing Products. This is going to be where I'm going to ask you a few questions here, and you just answer them as fast as you can.
All right.
You ready?
Let's go.
All right. What's your favorite color?
Orange.
Favorite type of music?
Rock.
Favorite ice cream?
Cookies and cream.
Ford or Chevy?
Chevy.
Oh, there we go. On a road trip, what's your go-to snack and drink combo?
The specialty Reese cups. You know, it's got to be like the Christmas trees or the eggs. Or the
Yeah,
pumpkins.
they got more. They're bigger.
Yeah. So definitely the specialty Reese cups and you know, chocolate milk is kind of our road trip drink.
Having a hard time getting down the backstretch.
Hey, but I want to touch on something. They came out with Little Debbie Christmas tree donuts like that. Oh man, I'm telling you, I've been trying to
Hey,
find
do you
them.
know McDonald's has got Krispy Kremes now?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Yes.
Do they still serve the apple pie?
Why you want the apple pie? They got Krispy Kreme.
Why would you not get the apple pie and Krispy Kreme?
Who throwed the shiny object out?
Hey, I don't know, but he took off that.
We
He's
throw
like
the-
that little
hey,
dog.
Hey, Joe, this is what's called a caution. You got to start all over.
We got to
again.
start all over.
Hey, transponder wasn't working.
That's a good excuse for a lot of people. Go-to pizza toppings.
Pepperoni.
Favorite track.
All the ones that support the American All-Star Series. There it is.
Right answer.
Yeah. What is your favorite pie or cake?
Peanut butter pie.
Man, I don't know. Peanut butter pie. Favorite soda.
Oh, that's a tough one. Sundrop.
All right, there it is. I threw me for a loop on that one. I ain't never had anybody say sun drop.
You didn't even know Sun Drop existed.
No, I didn't.
Man, don't know who
For a
Andy
long
Griffith
time
is.
ago.
Yeah, he don't know who Andy Griffith is.
Oh, come on. Or what is it? Hee haw or whatever y'all said?
Yeah, he haw.
I got it right. It took me 6 weeks.
You know what you-who is?
Dude, come on. Do you see me?
Okay.
I drink it a lot with the fan on.
Okay.
All right, well, that's a quick time. So as of right now, we're going to kick you over to the PPM product spotlight for this podcast. Today's product spotlight is your Hopper Co. Springs. We offer them anywhere from 4 inches all the way up to 16 inches. For your 2.5 inch ID, we offer them in standard and barrel spring. We also offer your 5x9.5 open wheel street stock springs. We have bump stop springs. We have the cool over kits for them and everything else. And as of right now, from this podcast on to the end of December, we're having a special on our website at PPM Racing Products. You will get a discount on every Hyperco spring that we have to offer. So make sure to stop by there and get your springs today at ppmracingproducts.com. Mr. Joe,
Sounds good.
buddy, we have been looking.
Have we
for-
covered everything?
Absolutely. Covered it like a tarp.
Like a tarp.
Okay. So we put everybody in the dark.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Joe, I just want to say thank you for making a super long drive down here to do this podcast
Yes.
with us, all the way from West Virginia. Again, this has been one that I wanted to do. This was the first one you were the first guest I wanted on the podcast. Like I said, you were one of the first people that the boys had told me about that they had a dealing with in a series, and you've been great to me and even great to everybody here. Everybody talks highly of you, so you know I'm very happy that you got to come down and do this podcast with us. We appreciate you. I can't wait to see what the future holds for you and all the series, and even see you at these shows. I'm very excited for the Mountain Expo again this year. Super excited for that
I just
one.
want to know one thing. They come back. Is the hot dogs as good as
They
it was
say
where
they
you
are.
was at?
At Beckley.
They were very good.
Yeah.
Those were good hot dogs. You're right.
I went up there and said, I thought I was going to get a hot dog. And I went up there and got a hot dog, man. Hey. I looked at Hunter. We was sitting down there. We wore out.
Right.
I looked over and I said, man, that's the best hot dog I've ever eaten. It was good, wasn't it?
God, I jumped up. I never jumped up so fast in my life. You'd think the house is on fire.
And
I'd
the
have jumped
tater
up
wedges.
quicker. God, that's some nice spuds. Oh, man. A little bit of cat soup. Oof.
Yeah.
Good knit.
We're easy.
Yeah.
Just
Telling you. That chicken sandwich is amazing too.
Yeah, it was
But
good.
you come to West Virginia this year, you got to have a West Virginia royalty and get a pepperoni roll. I mean, that's our thing in West Virginia. So,
Pepperoni roll.
Yeah, I heard them talking about it up at Pennsboro.
yeah. So, definitely got to try one of those this year.
That's a guarantee. Hopefully this time I don't come back with COVID.
That had nothing to do with West Virginia. Now,
No, itself. That's bad. That's bad. Oh man. Oh,
We had a fun trip.
dude, it was a blast. Met a lot of great people, and that's the thing I would like to touch on. A lot of people, we had touched earlier this season on these podcasts about us going to shows and stuff, and Mr. Joe's Mountain Expo was absolutely terrific. We made a lot of great relationships up there. Met a lot of great people. We've got a whole lot more people on our customer list, and some people that's never even heard of us. And we went up there, and it's awesome. These trade shows mean a lot more to companies than a lot of people realize, and it's awesome that Joe's putting one on up there. So we're very excited to go to that one.
but it don't only mean a lot to us. It means a lot to the racers because the only way we really help anybody is it's a lot of times it's relationships, getting to know people.
Totally relationships.
Yeah, that's how you get sponsorship. 99% of the time.
Yep. Yeah.
So, again, Mr. Joe, greatly appreciate you coming down and doing this podcast with us. Thank you for you coming down and Miss Jessie coming down. It's been great. Don't ever get to see y'all enough, but as always, thank y'all
That
very,
could
very
change.
much.
That could change.
It's going to change, Joe?
It could.
It could. I'm
Hope
looking
so.
forward to it.
That's
now.
right. So, but I'd like to.
That's a joke me and Jesse
Yeah.
has.
It's been going for several years.
It's an inside joke we've got.
I was like, daggone, he's moving down here. All right.
But I'd like to thank you guys for having us and for all that PPM does for the series. It wouldn't be here without you guys supporting us and everything from year one, day one. So thank you guys for having us on the show, and hopefully next off season we'll have more to talk about.
Absolutely. Going to try to have you every season on here with us to talk about the previous season. But for all you guys and girls watching out there, we want to say thank you for watching the podcast that we're putting out. It means a lot to us. We've got a lot of phone calls and even personal interactions of how much y'all have liked the podcast, and we appreciate it. So for all of your racing parts needs, go to ppmracingproducts.com. Or if you want to get some tech help or just order it on the phone, give us a call at 865-354-9669 and get your parts today. And as always, guys, we appreciate y'all watching. Thank you again, Mr. Joe, for coming down. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Comment
Hit
down
that
below.
button.
There it is. Bam. And
Hey, what they can do is they can comment, ask us questions, maybe guide us in the way to something they might want to see on here.
yeah, guest, anything.
Hey, we got some new apparel coming too. Might be giving a piece or two of that away.
Yeah. Stay tuned. If you haven't already, make sure to follow PPM Racing Products on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok for all the upcoming giveaways and even possible loyalty programs, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. Let's see. See if we can. We might just foreshadow something like that for you. I don't know. But as always, guys, we appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see y'all in the next one. Thank you.
Hey,
Subscribe, like.
hit that button.
Come on, get it up on the wheel. Go in there. You just smell poop or see Jesus. Let's get it done.